Ywain wishes to assign you to your first trial as a member of the Lancers Guild. So, you were able to discern one end of the spear from the other? Good. You are doubtless eager to put your new weapon to the test, which is, well, for I too have a test in mind, or rather a trial. In order to develop an affinity with your weapon and learn to gauge such things as distance, you are to go forth and pit yourself against the creatures that roam just outside the city. The squirrels, ladybugs, and fungvars should provide you with a suitable challenge. Put down, let us say, 3 of each, and then report back to me. So you are back. I trust you have learned something of the essence of our art. A lancer learns best when he is doing, each thrust making him stronger. Such things as strategy and technique will come in time, and never forget courage. Without it, you cannot hope to realize your potential. Your look betrays no hint of doubt. That is well. It is clear to see truth in my words. That will be all for the present. Now, take up your weapon, sally forth, and cut a path for yourself. When next we meet, I hope to see you stronger for your time out in the world. Guildmaster Ywain would teach you the meaning of courage. Ah, you have returned. I take from your presence that you have gained a measure of familiarity with your weapon. Good. You are ready to begin the next phase of your training. You will recall my telling you that it takes no small amount of courage to be a lancer. Now, in general terms, courage is the strength to do something which one finds unnerving. However, a lancer's notion of courage is not so simple. Having first drawn a distinction between courage and recklessness, he then divides the former into 2 aspects. I would have you learn each with spear in hand. The first is composure. When outnumbered in battle, a lancer may lose his composure and succumb to panic. Should this happen, all of his training will swiftly flee his mind, and he will struggle to overcome opponents whom he would ordinarily have bested with ease. He will, in short, contribute to his own defeat. If you wish to become a lancer in sooth, you must learn to maintain your composure at all times. Do this and you will be able to call upon every ounce of your strength and skill when it matters most. And so to your first task, the riverbanks of the Central Shroud are home to a Velkin known as Yarzans. Fiercely territorial, the creatures will attack anyone who strays too close. making them the bane of fisher folk. They typically fall upon their prey en masse, barring all avenues of escape before closing in for the kill. What must go through the mind of their victim in that instant? Panic, despair. Be sure to tell me upon your return. Needless to say, I would have you brave such an encounter. Take this sack of decidedly noisome bait and use it to lure the ever-ravenous creatures out of their nest. It may be that only one carries yards and appears, but what if 2 or 3 follow the scent? Let us see how you fare then. Go now, my young lancer, and learn what it means to fight with composure. Welcome back, Tolucc, and well done. I trust you now understand in times of direst need, no amount of strength or skill with a spear will avail the lancer who lacks composure. So, are you now ready to learn the second aspect of a lancer's courage, resolve? When faced with a terrible foe, a lancer may succumb to fear and self-doubt. Should this happen, he will become defensive, and in seeking to cover his weakness, surrender his greatest strength, namely, his capacity to attack. A lancer who fears to attack is not but a man holding a pole. His spear may as well be his broomstick for all the good it would do him. It's not and will never be a shield. That you may learn the truth of my words firsthand, I bid you go to the central shroud, to an area adjoining the abandoned dungeon known as Spirit Hold. Since the calamity, that neck of the Twelves Wood has become a veritable menagerie of fearsome fauna. There you will find 3 collapsed pillars, which have become a haunt for fell creatures. You are to put them down. What manner of fiends can you expect to encounter? To reveal that would be to defeat the purpose of my lesson, my young lancer. I will say only this: if you face these foes with the lancer's resolve, you will surely emerge the victor. Once you have completed the trial, pray report to Jillian in the entrance hall. She had grasped the 2 aspects of courage, albeit with some trouble, though I doubt you will encounter similar difficulties. Her struggle has furnished her with certain insights which I think you would benefit from hearing. A lancer learns best when he is doing, aye, but the wisdom of his seniors is not entirely without worth. Go now to look, and bid as I you. I have been expecting you, Tolucc. By your return, I trust you now understand the importance of resolve. Like one's flesh, courage can be made strong. It is a matter of training each of its aspects. Now, the endeavor may prove difficult in the beginning. Gods know how much I struggled. You may suffer untold humiliation and more frustration than you can bear, but you must persevere. Whenever you engage an opponent, whether in training or in earnest, make a conscious effort to fight with composure and resolve. Over time, doing so will become second nature, and you will acquire such courage as you never thought could be yours. Mind you, not all battles entail a physical clash of might. It could simply be a disagreement born of a conflict in ideology. The point is, it matters not what battlefield you stand upon. So long as you take care to be composed and resolute, your courage will grow. Did that make any sense, even a little? I fear I cannot hold a candle to Guildmaster Ywain, but if there is aught I can do to assist in your training... what was that? Something as far as a training area. And you call yourselves Lancers? Pathetic. You are next, Guildmaster. Arm yourself and face me. Refuse and we will all know that you are no true Lancer. Say what you will, I am above provocation. Craven to the last man. But what have we here? Wait, she is but a novice. That makes no odds to me. You yourself admitted her to your ranks, did you not? Very well. I shall withdraw for now. Yet know that only the fearless are fit to wear the mantle of Lancer. I look forward to measuring your worth in the days to come. There is not more to see. Return to your drills. Tolucc, you made no attempt to evade his thrust. Did your opponent so unnerve you as to deprive you of your senses? Well, it's of little consequence now. You need pay no further heed to our uninvited guest, lest you wonder. It is not uncommon for challengers to come pounding on our doors, seeking to test their mettle. For now, dedicate yourself to tempering the two aspects of courage, the composure to bring the sum of your strength and the skill to bear it against your foes, and the resolve to attack when fear would stay your hand, as befits a Lancer. When next we meet, I shall have another trial for you, one that will put your courage to the test. Until then, continue to apply yourself to your training. Farewell, Tolucc. Guildmaster Ywain has a mind to test your courage. Tolucc, I swear you've gotten ill around the arms since last we spoke. It is plain you have not been idle. In our previous lesson, you learned the Lancer's definition of courage and how you might go about tempering its two aspects. Today, we shall find out if your efforts have borne fruit. I see you have come prepared for battle. That is well. Your next trial will place you in the midst of a throng of enemies. In such a situation, one may be attacked from any direction, making it difficult to respond appropriately. Furthermore, the likelihood of being surrounded is high. Will your resolve bear the weight of uncertainty? Will your composure hold when the odds are stacked against you? We will soon find out. Should you overcome this trial, that courage you already possess will be further tempered. Now heed me well, for this is what you must do. I would have you travel to Naked Rock, where the Anoles claim dominion. At the summit of the rock is a sacred artifact, the Stone of Courage. You must claim it and bring it to me. If you are to reach your destination, you will need to negotiate a path through the whole packs of flesh-eating scalekin. Make no mistake, the creatures are intimidating foes. To stride into the midst of so many would ask much of any lancer's courage, but given time and no small amount of perseverance, I'm confident you will prove equal to the task. Congratulations, you have obtained the false stone of courage. Ah, you heard me right. False. What does that say about your courage, I wonder? Ah, but where are my manners? My name is Falquis. We had the pleasure of meeting at the Lancers Guild, if you recall. On that occasion I turned my weapon upon you and you betrayed not a hint of fear. It was in that instant that I sensed you were unlike the others, that you had promise. And so to the present, in its current state, the trial in which you are engaged, if trial it may be called, makes a mockery of the Lancer's art. Needless to say, this cannot be tolerated. And so I have taken the liberty of moving the Stone of Courage to a more suitable location. It now resides in the depths of Spirithold, under the guard of fell fiends, a far more fitting challenge, as I'm sure you will agree. Whether or not you attempt to retrieve the stone is for you to decide. If you fear for your safety, I suggest you run back to the guild and bemoan the world's frightfulness to the many brave souls who cower there. Yuan will doubtless consider it a supremely courageous act. Yet know that a lancer may forge true courage only in the midst of great danger. So you have returned. Tell me, were you able to obtain the Stone of Courage? Yes, this is indeed the stone, though it is in rather worse condition than when last I saw it. What happened in Naked Rock? The Lancer who but recently threatened you moved the stone to Spirithold? Not content with trespass and slander, the brazen fool now meddles with our training? Seven hells, this is not to be borne. Listen well, Tolucc, though I do not doubt that you know better, my duty as guildmaster compels me to state the obvious. Heed not that man's words. that a lancer's courage can only be forged in the midst of great dangers of vainglorious tripe. As you have already learned, a lancer's courage is the product of composure and resolve, but under no misapprehension, watchfully navigating the Annul's territory served to temper your courage in a manner that blindly braving the terrors of Spirithold did not. As you continue your training, pray keep the lessons of this trial close to your heart. Guildmaster Yuan urgently needs you to travel to the East Shroud in his stead. Tolucc, you've come at a good time. I urgently require your help. Scarcely a bell ago, our old friend Falquist paid us another visit, seemingly intent upon reprising the performance he gave it on the first day of your meeting. As on that occasion, he raved till the air was thick with slanders, declaring every soul who met his gaze more craven than the last. This time, however, not all ears were deaf to his myriad provocations. It seems one of our younger members took offense at his words and demanded satisfaction of the rogue. The two have since departed to duel in the East Shroud. Had I been on hand, I would have forbidden such folly, and rebuked the lad for letting pride cloud his judgment. Alas, I learned of it too late and the boy is gone. All we can do now is ensure that the hot-headed fool does not come to lasting harm. I would have departed in pursuit of the pair ere you came, but my duties keep me here. That is why I turn to you now, Tolucc. Pray go to the East Shroud in my stead and watch over our comrade. So we meet again. You remember who I am, I trust? I do. But of course you remember your mentor, he who taught you the true meaning of courage. I understand you were able to retrieve the Stone of Courage in Spirithold. It seems I was right about you. You have been the makings of a true Lancer, unlike those charlatans at the Lancers Guild. It is well you have come to me, for I have just the trial for you, one that will do wonders for your courage. Not interested, you say? But you have no choice. Should you refuse, well, suffice it to say that I will not be able to guarantee the safety of your comrade here. When last we spoke, I told you that a Lancer may forge true courage only in the midst of great danger. Needless to say, the threat posed by ordinary creatures is insufficient. You must needs seek out better sport. But fear not, for I have taken the liberty of finding you something suitable. Take this alchemic potation and sprinkle it upon the exposed roots yonder. Doing so will garner you the wrath of a certain creature, which you must then strike down. So you have vanquished the Trent. Well done. By striking down that frenzied creature, you have further strengthened your courage. Release your comrade? Oh, I shall. Once you have completed my next trial. This one will pit you against a multitude of foes. Make your way to the Life Men's Stump in the Central Shroud. Once there, seek out a likely spot along the forest path to lie in wait. Man-eating wolves are wont to hunt there this time of year, and it should not be long before a pack appears. When the beasts show themselves, you are to slay their leader, the Alpha Wolf. I shall be observing from up close, the better to offer you advice. You are to be congratulated, Tolucc. By throwing yourself into the midst of danger, you have further tempered your courage. And in the process, you have brought peace to Lifeman Stump, a place considered sacred by the people of Gridania. Having undertaken my trials, you must now see that those issued by the guild are naught but child's play. Mine is the one true path of courage. All others lead to ignominy. If you wish to become the lancer worthy of the name, I suggest you leave Uwain and his house of cravens, never to return. For your sake, I pray you do so soon, till we meet again. Tolucc, thank the gods you're safe. That young fool of a lancer returned but moments ago, and through choked tears recounted to me all that transpired. I understand Falquaz again attempted to force you upon his corrupted notion of courage. I cannot say this often enough. A lancer strengthens his courage by tempering his composure and resolve, not by rushing headlong into danger. You were able to overcome Falquaz's trial, 'tis true. Yet know that you did so by virtue of true courage, that is, courage born of composure and resolve. You faltered not before the fury of a frenzied trend, nor did you succumb to the panic when surrounded by bloodthirsty wolves. Owing to this, you were able to perform to the fullest of your potential. You have come far, Tolucc. It is past the time that I taught you the piercing talon technique, one of the most versatile weapons in the Lancer's arsenal. May it serve you well. Now, I must needs decide what course of action to take with regard to your self-appointed mentor. Though no lives were lost, this latest incident only serves to confirm what I have long suspected, that Falquaz will cause great harm if I left to propagate his corrupted notion of courage. He must be persuaded to desist, though I do not yet know how. Mayhap his regard for me you could have turned to our advantage, but leave such considerations to me. For the time being, you would do well to put Falquaz from your mind. Focus on your training and strive to master the technique I have taught you. I look forward to our next meeting. Guildmaster Uwain has a trial in mind for which promises to be more dangerous than any you have faced thus far. I have been expecting you, Tolucc. You have been training hard, I trust? I would set before you your next trial, one more dangerous than any you have faced before. But I would not send an unprepared woman to her death. Before we proceed, I must needs verify your progress with my own eyes. You will face 3 experienced lancers in single combat. Defeat each one in succession and you will prove yourself fit to undertake the trial. Arm yourself and take place in the training area. We begin when you're ready. Well done, Tolucc. Impressive, Tolucc, most impressive. You are ready to face this trial. Yet I did not exaggerate when I said it would be dangerous. Make no mistake, to take this test is to risk death. Knowing this, do you still wish to proceed? Yep. You disappoint me. Back again, are you? That woman is the only soul in this pathetic excuse for our guild who shows any promise. Which is why I consoled her to leave you. Alas, she chose to remain in your house at Craven's. Such a waste. This guild has outlived its purpose, and I mean to see its doors shut and barred for good. If you wish to object, I invite you to do so with lance in hand. You do not want for confidence, sir, but answer me this. What grudge do you hold against us? For what reason did you choose this of all crusades? I detest cravens who would proclaim their courage and like nothing better than to crush them. That is my reason. Well, the fixity of your purpose is clear. Even if your reasoning is not, so be it. Suffice it to say, you will not have your way without a fight. Oh, but do not presume that I will be your opponent. No, you must face the lancer over whom you so gradually claimed mentorship, the one woman among us whose potential you condescend to acknowledge. Tolucc shall represent us all. As guildmaster, I wager the fate of the guild upon her lance. Do as you will, coward. It is your guild to throw away. You may even set the terms of the contest. Very well. Tolucc here is to undertake a trial. I challenge you to complete the task before she does. You are to travel to the East Shroud and prove your courage before the Lord of the Bramble Patch. He is a giant amongst boars, unrivaled in strength and savagery, and ruler over all his kind. You must go before this fearsome creature and stand your ground. Know, though, that the Lord of the Bramble Patch will not grant an audience to just anyone. You must needs present him an offering of his bloody tusks of his subjects, the wild boars that inhabit his domain. When you have prepared your offering, leave it upon the area of trampled earth. Drawn to such a stench of blood, the Lord of the Bramble Patch will soon appear. That is all. Is there any questions? No? Then let the trial commence. You shan't find much sport in these two. Come back another day, my friend. Well done, Tolucc. You have completed the trial. I trust you now see the truth in my words. Hurling yourself into the midst of danger is not courage. It is folly. No, this proves nothing. I refuse to accept. You refuse to accept the weakness within you? No, Tolucc. Leave him be. Your work here is done. Return to the guild. I shall see you there presently. I will not lie to you. You are no match for the Lord of the Bramble Patch. Had you betrayed any hint of fear, he would have gored you in the space of a moment, and feasted on your entrails. But you stood your ground, holding fast to your composure and resolve. Thus were you able to stare terror in the face and survive unscathed. Well done, Tolucc. You have overcome the greatest hurdle in the quest to become the master of your own courage. You may now bring to bear the full extent of your abilities upon even the mightiest of foes. And as for Falquis, well, if there is a shred of reason left in him, he will have learned the selfsame lesson as you this day. Painful though the experience must surely have been, one can only hope that it will serve to open his eyes to the truth. Go forth, Tolucc, and prepare yourself for further trials. I look forward to our next meeting. Guildmaster Wayne wants you to learn from other masters of the Lancer's art. It is good to see you again, Tolucc, and stronger than when we last spoke. Plainly, you have devoted many hours to training, which is just as well, for I have a mind to set you on your next task. At the Bramble Patch, you came to grasp the true meaning of courage. I would have you put that courage to the proof before 3 masters of our art. In the many years since they began their training within these walls, these men have led very different lives, yet they share the distinction of being regarded amongst the finest lancers of their time. And just as they once looked to their seniors for inspiration, so too shall you look to them. By availing yourself of their wisdom, you will take another step towards becoming a fully fledged lancer. Your first instructor is a man named Mathomi. Seek him out at the Amarisak's Spire in the East Shroud, where he serves as a frontier sentry. The long years at his post may have honed Mathiomi's perception. No detail escapes this man's piercing gaze. Present yourself before him for inspection, Tolucc, and do as he bids you. You must be the young lancer I was told to expect. Greetings and well met. I am Mathiomi, commander of the brave men and women of this spire. Now let's have a good look at you. I see. You possess strength and skill in abundance. Of this there is no doubt, but you still want for experience. Oh, I don't doubt you've seen much more. Mayhap you believe there is naught left out there to unnerve you. Yet the world is wide, and only the gods can claim to know all. You may be assured that the legendary lances of old faltered at times. No lancer, nor any man can foresee all possibilities, but he can steel himself for the unexpected. I would have you do just that. Take this bottle of fresh spoken blood and sprinkle it at the foot of the great tree to the north. Doing so will leer at creatures of the night, which you are to vanquish. Welcome back, lass, and well done. I bore witness to your battle with mine own eyes. The bloodbat bewilders its prey with its ceaseless flittering, which makes putting a spear in the beast an exercise in frustration. Frustration that may easily have given rise to panic, yet to your credit, you fought on resolutely and thus emerged the victor. Ewain has taught you well, young one. You have a way to go, to be sure, but beneath those rough-hewn edges, I see the makings of a great lancer. With my blessing, make your way to Buscaron's druthers in the South Shroud. It is there that your next instructor, Buscaron himself, awaits. The man had a unique approach to our art. Though it's a fair while since he hung up his spear, his words are well worth hearing. Indeed, lancers visit him as much for his counsel as they do his mead. Good though it is. By meeting Buscaron and availing yourself to his knowledge, your lance work will surely improve. Well, if it isn't Yang's Pajajay, I thought it was about time you arrive. I'm Buscaron, and this here's my place. In case you're wondering why old Yuan sent you, I should mention I've not always been in the food and drink business. Before I opened the Druthers, I manned an outpost not far from here. Any road between keeping throats wet and bellies full, I ain't got a great deal of time to chat just now, so if you don't mind, I'll get on with educating you. Now, take this nice bottle of full flower mead. Wait, don't open it. This ain't that kind of lesson. No. I want you to make an offering of it at the Misdale's Lance, which is a monument tucked away in the rocky cleft to the south of here. See the bottle safely there, complete with its contents. When you come back, I'll tell you a story. Got all that? Good. So you offered up the meat as I told you, and without drinking a drop? Very well. You shall have a tale of me as promised. Misdal is the man who founded the Lancers Guild, and the moment I sent you there to erect it in his honor. Misdal was courage made flesh. Cut him and I dare say he'd have bled the stuff. It was him who first identified the two aspects of a Lancer's courage, as well as how to go about tempering them. And that weren't all he did. Seeing how the art had gone stale, what with our Lancers keeping to the confines of the Twelswood, he sought to bring in new techniques and methods from faraway lands. But Gridania was a different place in his day. The outside world was a thing to be shunned back then, and non-forest-born were considered faithless savages. Hey, it was even worse than now. Of course, old Misdal wasn't afraid to call that way thinking what it was, a lot of ignorance and cowardice. To cut a long story short, despite a forest full of good old Gridanian stubbornness, he finally convinced the nation to open its doors to foreign lancers, and by blending their techniques with his own, he gave the world the art which you now practice. To this day, the Lancers Guild accepts students regardless of their origin. That wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Mistal. Us Lancers owe him much and more, and it's our charge to carry on his legacy. Never forget that. What's that? When's the trial? Much as I hate to disappoint, there isn't one. Your courage was never in doubt, lass. My part in the training's done. 'Tis time you visited your third and final instructor, a fellow named Valclerc. You'll find him whirling away in his time at the Bobbing Cork. Like it as not? Oh, that's the name of an inn in Falgord Float, in case you didn't know. Up in the North Shroud it is. Valclerc's an old rival of mine. Me and him used to go at it till neither man could lift his spear tip off the ground. I warn you, he was a right stubborn bugger back then, and the years ain't done him much to improve his humors. So, good luck with impressing him. I take it you are the young lancer of whom you ain't spoke? And an adventurer besides, by the look of you? I was an adventurer myself once. That was before I became a lance for hire. But enough idle talk. You have come to learn from me, and learn from me you shall. Be warned, though, that you will not find me as lenient as an instructor as the others. Now pay attention. Thus far you have learned to muster your courage in situations of fear, panic, and uncertainty. With me you will learn to do so in the face of change. The enemy is a living thing, and living things are adept to change. Whatever the nature of that change, a lancer must be able to think and adapt. And to think and adapt during battles requires courage. To teach you the meaning of my words, I would have you challenge a fiery fiend known as the Red Balloon. However, the creature will only appear when there is a raging flame. You may kindle such a flame by procuring 6 fingers from slain balloons and depositing them at the gutted campfire. This should suffice to entice the Red Balloon. As the battle wears on, the creature's fury shall burn with ever greater fervor until it's ripe to burst into conflagration of death. Let courage lend strength to your lance and extinguish this fiery foe. So you have vanquished the red balloon? No less than what I would expect of one of Yuane's. Your enemy altered its nature throughout the encounter, thereby causing the terms of battle to shift repeatedly. Yet ever did you press onward, your courage holding firm in the midst of constant change? So it was that you emerged triumph. I'm not known for being liberal with my praise, but you have done well. Yours is a genuine courage. Mind you, this does not give you license to forsake your training. You are still but a fledgling among us after all. I have finished with you. You may report back to Wayne, and when you do, tell them that young upstart that I demand he show his face here from time to time. That's all. Old Val clerk demands I show my face? I can only assume that buxom brunette at the float isn't lavishing him the attention he craves. Very well, I'll see what I can do. As for you, Tolucc, well done. I never doubted that you would meet with the approval of all three men, yet I am no less proud of you for having done so. You have traveled far along the Lancer's path, and soon you will be no longer require my guidance. In fact, you need overcome but one further trial to complete your education here. Do so, and I will give you my blessing to leave the Lancers Guild and embark upon a new adventure with spear in hand. As ever, apply yourself to your lance work and return when you are ready for your final challenge. I look forward to our next meeting. Guildmaster Yuan would set you on a final trial. Ah, Tolucc, ever a sight for sore eyes. By your return, I take it you are ready for the final trial. Very well. Let us... Guildmaster Yuan. You're wounded. What has happened? We were attacked, sir, by a Duskrite Lancer, as we trained in the forest. He was impossibly strong. A demon. He kept screaming something about teaching us true courage. No, not him. Not Falquis. We were in the northwest corner of the central shroud when it happened. I was able to get away, but the others, you must help them. Be strong, man. I'm sorry, Tolucc. The trial must wait. Pray make haste to the central shroud and help your comrades. And Tolucc, should Falquis force your hand, do what must. 12 speed you on your way. Help! For the love of the 12, help me! I owe you my life, friend. Another breath and I would have become worm fodder. A dusk-white lancer unleashed the fiends upon us, claiming it would temper our courage. You should have seen the look in his eye when he said it, mad bastard. Where is he now? I think he headed off towards the North Shroud. Maybe in the direction of Falgord Float? I can't say for sure. I was concentrating on a skeleton at the time. If it's a reckoning you seek, you are like to be disappointed. Those of us who managed to outrun the worms would have already alerted the whalers. I dare say the Duskwhite is being held at spear point as we speak, begging for the worthless life in a puddle of his own piss. Serves the bastard right and all. What kept you? Helping your comrades, you say? Fool, you waste your pity on false friends. It's only a matter of time before they betray you, just like those wretches who saw me imprisoned and exiled. I was once an upright citizen of Gridania, and a man of the Lancers Guild, yet life was not easy. For want of the coin to obtain the barest necessities, I conspired with my closest comrades to steal from the guild's coffers. The theft soon came to light, and though there were no suspects, it was clear that the deed had been perpetrated by someone within the ranks. An air of suspicion hung heavy over the guild from that day forth, until at last, unable to bear the guilt, I convinced my accomplices to join me in confessing. Only for them to bite their craven tongues after I stepped forward and admitted my part in the crime. And so, it was that alone I took the blame. Of course it was the Duskwhite, everyone said. Was there ever any doubt? It all made perfect sense. Despite my heartfelt pleas, my so-called friends denied any involvement. Instead, they called me vulgar names that I do not care to repeat. Can you imagine the shock and anguish I felt at their betrayal? Would that I had the strength to force the truth out of those traitors. Would that I had the courage to escape my dungeon cell, even if it meant taking some helpless guard's life. Driven by vengeance was no small amount of self-loathing. I revolved to forge my courage anew. I strode into the lairs of ravenous fiends while drenched in blood. I put their helpless offspring to the spear, that I might face the unbridled fury of their kin. For my efforts, I have acquired the ultimate courage, a courage forged amidst danger and tempered by rage. I fear nothing. I am the greatest lancer that has ever lived. Impossible. My courage is absolute. No, come no closer. So Falquez is no more? His was a tragic tale, and one that might have been different, had fate not dealt him such a cruel hand. He could have well commanded a place of honor within these halls, but it avails us not to dwell upon what might have been. It is enough that you were still with us, Tolucc. Lest you wonder about your final trial, there will be none. I have seen all I need to see. You have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that yours is a genuine courage. In recognition of this, I shall pass to you the secrets of Lance Charge, one of the most potent abilities in our arsenal. You are a Lancer in your own right now. There is not more I can teach you. From here onwards, it is up to you to seek out such challenges as will make you grow. Like attracts like, and the strong are drawn to strength. Just as I once knew for a certainty that I was destined to face the Lord of the Bramble Patch, so too will you find, or be found by, an adversary of equal worth. None can say what fate will bring, but armed with your courage, there is naught you need fear. Keep close to your heart the lessons you have learned here, and go forth to blaze a new trail with the spear in hand. Duane seeks your aid in assisting an old friend. I dare say you might be just the right woman for the job. The Guild has urgent need of a capable Lancer for a mission beyond our nation's borders. Hear me out, if you will. I've received word from an Ishgardian friend to the effect that he requires our aid. I would have you go and provide that aid. As you already know, due to her ongoing conflict with the dragons, Ishgard has kept her gates closed and outsiders for some time. The occasional Dragoon on patrol duty is about all folks see these days. In spite of her self-imposed isolation, however, the Holy See has never failed to honor her obligations to her allies. It is only fitting that we answer the call and lend what assistance we can. To this end, we offered to dispatch a contingent of wood whalers with all haste, but we were politely informed that they would not be welcome, much to our initial confusion. It was later explained that we are dealing with a matter of some sensitivity, best handled by individuals who are capable and trustworthy yet unbound by allegiance. And who fits that description, save adventurers? Secrecy being paramount. I can provide no details. As to the nature of the task, all you need to know will be revealed to you at the rendezvous point. Should you accept the mission, take yourself to the observatorium. A knight by the name of Sir Alberic will receive you upon arrival. Ah, you must be the adventurer of whom Ywain sent word. Greetings, and well met. I am Sir Albrecht Bale, Knight of Ishgard. The Holy See is much obliged for your aid. Time being of the essence, I shall proceed straight to the heart of the matter. The eye, an Ishgardian relic of immeasurable worth, has been stolen, and we have reason to believe the culprit has come this way. So it is that we ask your assistance in its recovery. The thief has been identified as a man named Estinian, a dragoon sworn to the service of the Holy See. Aye, you heard me. The crime was perpetrated by one of our own, an individual in a position of trust and no little honor. You may be assured that a fate worse than death awaits him upon capture. My duties to see that afford me little opportunity to travel far beyond the walls of Ishgard. I must confess to a grave ignorance of recent Gridanian affairs. I was told that a sentry by the name of Logdranal might have knowledge of routes oft taken by Ishgardian fugitives. I would prefer to keep my identity a secret, and thus would have you gather what information you can from the man. We must act quickly, for you see, Estinian is... But I already said too much. What matters is that we find our thief in the eye with all haste. When last sighted, Estinian was clad in black armor. Now go, and speak not a word of what I have told you to anyone. Routes favored by Ishgardian fugitives? Now that's a question I don't hear every day. You aren't plotting some unsavory act yourself, are you? Even if you were, I doubt you'd make it far. Any road we've caught a few fling to the North Shroud, with what Gridanian being home to nearly as many hills in as Ishgard, it's no easy task to identify outsiders. If you're on the hunt for someone, you could do worse than to visit Florentel's spire in the North Shroud and speak with a man named Idristran. If any suspicious persons have crossed the border in recent days, he'd be the first to know. Hail, adventurer. Yes, I am the one tasked with monitoring those who would enter our lands by way of Corythus. An Ishgardian knight clad in black armor? No, I recall nothing of the sort, and such a striking visitor would be difficult to forget. My apologies, friend. I can only suggest that you return to Logdranal and see if he has any other theories. No luck, you say? Most curious. Why, it is impossible that a fugitive can make it this far without being espied from Florentel's spire. Which leaves the possibility that your man is still in Ishgard. It runs counter to the good sense. Would the fugitive not want to put distance of grounds between him and his pursuers? But by the process of deduction, it is a possibility. The climes of Ishgard are not too kind to drifters and vagabonds. That said, there has been talk of curious smoke wafting from a cave east of here, at night. Were I you, I might begin my search there. That Ishgard would resort to sending coin-starved adventurers after me. I know not whether to laugh or feel insulted. The eye, it roses? For another? Preposterous. Our paths shall cross again, you can be sure of it. A dragoon, clad in black, you say? Tell me all that transpired. By the fury, that the eye would choose another? I had not thought it possible. In light of recent events, it would seem an explanation is in order. The eye is no ordinary relic. It harbors the power of the dragon, which it bestows upon a single chosen soul, the strongest and wisest dragoon. He who is chosen is possessed of the power to fight our mortal foes, the dragons of Dravania, on equal footing, soaring the firmament as it were an extension of the land. That man is known as the Azure Dragoon. The Azure Dragoon is the light of hope for all its guardians, and the paragon of all dragoons. For this reason, you may imagine how it pains me to have to confess that you, the man you encountered, the thief, is none other than the Azure Dragoon, and that I was once his teacher. Needless to say, I acknowledge myself accountable for Estienne's misdeeds, and mean to do all in my power to find him and recover the eye, but I cannot do this alone. I require your help, Tolucc. You, who have received the power of the dragon. You may labor to believe it, but there can be no mistake. The soul of the dragoon I bear glows in your presence, irrefutable proof that you are chosen. What I can explain, however, is the why of it. Never before in Ishgard's long history has the eye roused to more than one individual in a single generation, but it avails us not to coodle our brains about it. The fact of the matter is that you are now a vessel for the power of the dragon. The dragon lies yet in slumber. However, you must needs possess the means to wake it, the soul of the dragoon. I would entrust with mine to look. Like Estienne, I once ruled the skies as the Azure Dragoon. Although that power has since become lost to me, it was simply by force of habit that I have hitherto kept my soul upon my person. I have no inkling as to why the eye has seen fit to choose a second, and I an outsider at that. Yet one thing is clear, none can challenge the Azure Dragoon, and the conceivable prevail save another Azure Dragoon. You are our only hope of bringing Estienne to justice and reclaiming the eye. Of course, I do not ask that you do this unaided. I may be a dragoon no more, but what knowledge I have, I shall gladly impart to you. For indeed, when the time comes that you must face the Azure Dragoon, not less than complete mastery over the power of the dragon will avail to you. That a perilous road lies ahead of you, I shall not deny. Knowing this, if you would still lend me your lance, I will teach you to harness the power that has chosen you. Go forth, my young dragoon, and rouse the dragon within. I look forward to your return.